Hey everybody, it's episode 5 of the Sugar Chronicles. Welcome back to all the returning listeners, and thank you for joining us. To anyone new, always happy to have some new listeners joining us along the way. We're broadcasting from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, where spring is trying to sprout. Got a little bit of green happening out there. It's been a nice week last week, and then today has been cloudy and cold. But there's a tinge of green and warmer breezes in the air, so let's hope. I'll be honest, I've been preparing scripts for the podcast. And for this episode, although I started to prepare earlier than usual, I struggled with getting started. I just couldn't get the juices flowing. I couldn't get ideas. There's lots to talk about. I just couldn't get it down and make it a podcast. Then I saw a post on Instagram, and the last part of it read, "At the end of the day, you have to be your own inspiration." Insert smileys here. It's very true. If I step back and I take a deep breath and I tell myself, I've got this. I can walk towards beating this terrible sugar addiction. I can for me. Who else is going to do it for me? Clearly no one. We can either be our own worst enemy or our own best friend. Which one do I want to be? Well, recently I spent 6 fabulous days in sunny California. Beautiful warm days, waking up to sunny, warm, pleasant mornings, an abundance of palm trees, and the warm Santa Ana breezes blowing. Did I indulge? I sure did. Did I eat well? Yes, for the most part. And I probably could have and should have eaten better. But I put a ton of steps in every day. And of course, that's my own justification in having a sweet treat here and there. But the things that jump out at me are these. Food portions are huge, but it's not just the bad stuff. The sunshine, the warm weather, the ocean breezes, it all plays a role in regulating cravings. That I'm positive of. In the land of vanity and beautiful people, craving subsides substantially. Because hey, who isn't vain and who doesn't compare themselves to somebody else? But now back to the reality of spring trying to be leafless trees and the never-ending blue skies, and the sugar battle continues, and it continues in full force. It didn't take long for my spiteful nemesis to welcome me back into its grip. This week has been a bust with respect to the evils of sugar. I wasn't keeping a food journal this week. Not that it actually stops me from consuming excess sugar, but it does put it into perspective. And then I'll think twice later in the day if the track record has been less than stellar, which lately it's less than stellar. I've based my daily diet this week on licorice pull-aparts, sour gummy lifesavers, American Hershey chocolate, Quality Street chocolates, store-bought pre-packaged Rice Krispie squares, cookies, chocolate milkshake, carrot cake, and that's only what I can actually remember. I shudder to think what I've eaten and that I haven't written down and I'm completely oblivious to. And I'm ashamed. I'm totally ashamed. So as I sit here and I'm prepping the script for later editing, I have the balance of the American Hershey chocolate bar in front of me. I've had a couple of squares. Tomorrow I'm starting a 10-day detoxification. The box of materials is sitting in front of me, almost as a guardian. This box wins out over the Hershey bar for now, and I literally feel nauseated as I look at it, and I can't take another morsel. Thankfully, the thought of it kind of makes me feel physically sick. Here's the weird part. My physical side feels nauseated, but my emotional side feels sad. Chocolate, candy in general, but mostly chocolate, has been my friend, my pal, my never let me down companion. My go-to when I've had a bad day or I'm feeling bad. It gives me some sort of comfort. It's like a long-term relationship breaking up. So here's the tough part for me. How do I focus on the benefit of feeling nauseated? Wait, feeling nauseated is a benefit? Over the physical feelings and push the emotional part, the feeling sad and missing my comfort, my pal, my reliance to the side. Well, self, here's the thing. You crave the chocolate today. Tomorrow it might be licorice. Yesterday maybe it was gummies. But what's the feelings after consuming those things? Guilt, anger, disappointment, even sometimes self-loathing. Physically, it's bloating, swelling, exhaustion, and sometimes maybe nausea. So now, self, where's any pleasure in any of that? As I sit back and I think about those words, I've decided to pay close attention to the signs that come my way via various sources. So, yesterday, as you all have probably figured out, I'm a big fan of Instagram, and there was a post that came up for a free ebook. It was a 3-step sugar detox book. And I'm totally honest with myself. I know that it's going to take a heck of a lot longer and a heck of a lot more than 3 steps for this sugar-infested body to cleanse and to rejuvenate itself. But lately, I'm all about gathering the information, facts, numbers, whatever it's going to take to shock me into reality. So I downloaded the free ebook and I check it out. It comes from thepeopleschemist.com. It's called The 3-Step Sugar Detox by Shane Ellison. This ebook is short, but it has loads of good information, and I highly recommend it if anyone is interested. So the book starts out with an intro of the sugar addiction. No disrespect, but damn you, Christopher Columbus, for it was he who started cultivating sugar way back when, and within decades, the rainforest was cleared, the native population was eliminated by disease and war, courtesy of the production of sugar. What? Who knew? This was an interesting fact, historical. The article goes on to divulge that in time the demand gave birth to the slave trade. African slaves were shipped to carry on this whole sugar plantation. Sugar, greed, and addiction fueled these injustices and gave us the sugar overdose that has gripped the world and our health. The history books certainly don't tell us that. And it doesn't also point out that tidbit of wealthy information has now led us to where we are today with this whole sugar infestation. So here's another staggering number. In 1700, the average annual sugar consumption was 4 pounds. Just 100 years later, that number was 18 pounds. By 1870, it had increased to 47 pounds annually, and by the 1900s, a whopping 100 pounds of sugar were being downed annually. So I decided to do a quick Google search to see what I could find for recent stuff. And the most recent article that I could find, it dates back to 2014, but the annual number for sugar consumption is 150 to 170 pounds per year per person. That's gross. That is really gross. And sadly, super sadly, I'm in that statistic, and I'm probably higher than that. So why? What's going on? As we go back to the ebook, science shows that the need for more comes from the surge in the feel-good molecule that's triggered by sugar consumption. I can vouch for that. Once the sugar high dissipates, the brain is depleted and it leaves us wanting more. Oh yeah, and it probably depends on time per person, because I know my time doesn't last long and I want more almost immediately. So the sugar user feels lethargic and lazy, pushing the user to seek out more sugary feel-good food. Oh yeah. Processed sugar forges an emotional addiction by triggering the same pleasure centers in the brain that illegal drugs do. And of course that goes back to that statistic that sugar is even more addictive than cocaine. The more you have, the more you want. Okay, so me, being Miss Goody Two-Shoes, I sit back and I look and I have to say, I'm a user. I'm an addict. Insert shock smiley here. Kind of, but not really. There's more personal and interesting facts from Shane as he gets into the hypoglycemia and hormones science of the book. And then he goes on to the next part that really got my attention. How sugar ages you. Ugh, yeesh. So he talks about it a bit, and then he makes an analogy, which is perfect and explains it very well. Excess sugar consumption is just like the wear and tear you put on a car. The true age of your car has very little to do with the numbers of years that go by since it was manufactured. A car can sit in the garage for decades, not being driven very often, pristine condition, all shiny and new, and it's still going to run like it has its entire useful life ahead of it. On the other side of that, a 2-year-old car driven every day with over 150,000 miles on it could very well be near the end of its useful life if it hasn't been maintained properly. So the same is true for our bodies. The more sugar calories we eat, the faster we age, and vice versa. Hello, dumb self? See what you're doing? Wake up call. All the expensive creams and procedures in the world isn't going to work if I continue to down this aging killer sugar road. Shane then goes on to talk about changing his diet, eliminating sugar. He even went as far as to eliminate fruit, and supplementing with L-tryptophan, which replenishes the feel-good molecules in the brain and puts a halt to sugar addiction. He also talks about 50 milligrams to 1,500 milligrams of cinnamon daily to increase sugar sensitivity. That's an interesting tidbit of information. I'm going to have to dig deeper into that one. Following a bit more scientific information, Shane closes with this. It's better to risk your life doing something you love, not sucking down sugar like a glutton. Hey, wait, where is he? Has he been watching me? How does he know I do that? I guess I'm not the only one. Once you divorce yourself from this granular evil, your life and hormones will change for the better. You will be amazed at how you look and feel. Vibrant health is just around the corner. Okay, so again, there's hope for me and for people like me. This free ebook even makes me want to go out and buy a biology textbook and get into the nitty-gritty of the science of what I'm doing to my body. Again, I say, if there's any takers out there, I'll be a specimen. So as I keep looking and I'm, searching around, Googling for this and Googling for that, I find another article. Very good one, actually, and the article's titled 10 Disturbing Reasons Why Sugar is Bad for You, and it's by Kristen Gunners. Very, very interesting article, just to give a summary. So her first words are, added sugar is the single worst ingredient in the modern diet. Oh yeah. And then she starts the 10 disturbing reasons. So I don't think these are in any particular order, but interesting just the same. Added sugar contains no essential nutrients. Okay, I guess we all know that, and it's bad for our teeth. Empty calories and nutrient deficiencies. It depletes our energy. No kidding. And as for our teeth, it leaves easily digestible energy for bad bacteria in the mouth. Ew, that's just gross. Number 2, added sugar is high in fructose, which can overload the liver. So before sugar enters the bloodstream, it's broken down in the digestive tract into glucose and fructose. Glucose, which is a relatively good sugar, it's found in every living cell. And if we don't get it from our diet, our bodies produce it. So that's cool. Fructose, however, our bodies do not produce it, and there is no physiological need for it. It is not a problem if we only eat a bit, say from fruit. But eating a lot of fructose overloads the liver and turns the fructose to fat. And when we repeatedly eat large amounts of sugar, the process can lead to fatty liver and a variety of health problems. Number 3, overloading the liver with fructose can cause non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Oh, pretty. Excess fructose gets turned into fat, which can lodge in the liver and cause non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Ugh, that just sounds gross. Sugar can cause insulin resistance, a stepping stone towards metabolic syndrome and diabetes. So when people eat a lot of sugar, it can cause resistance to the hormone insulin and contribute to many diseases. Yeesh. Number 5, the insulin resistance can progress to type 2 diabetes. And because of the harmful effects of sugar on the function of insulin, it is the leading driver of type 2 diabetes. Sugar can give you cancer. This one is kind of like in one of those crime movies or something, and the criminal's hiding out in a seedy motel and the sign is blinking outside their window. That's sort of what I see with this one. Sugar can give you cancer. So many scientists believe that having constantly elevated insulin levels, a consequence of sugar consumption, can contribute to cancer. Metabolic problems associated with sugar consumption are a known driver of inflammation, which is another potential cause of cancer. And multiple studies have shown that people who eat a lot of sugar are at a much higher risk of getting cancer. That one really hits me. That one speaks to me. Number 7. Due to its effects on hormones and the brain, sugar has unique fat-promoting effects. Again, we go back to fructose, and it doesn't cause us to feel satisfied or full in the brain or lower the hunger hormone, and it's not the same as glucose. Glucose will give that to us. So because it causes, number 8, because it causes massive dopamine release in the brain, sugar is highly addictive. Oh yeah, totally. Like abusive drugs, sugar causes a release of dopamine in the reward center of the brain. The problem with sugar, and many junk foods for that matter, is that they cause massive dopamine release, much more than we were ever exposed to from foods that are found in nature. Hello, plant-based diet. The everything in moderation message can be a bad idea for people who are addicted to junk food, because the only thing that works for true addiction is abstinence. And sorry, Mom, my mama is always the one who says, oh, a little bit of sugar won't hurt you. Oh, you can have a piece of cake. Oh, you can have a cookie. Oh, a chocolate bar won't hurt. And even though she knows that I love her dearly, but even though she knows that I'm trying to cut back on sugar and that I have a problem, she still sends me packages in the mail with like a giant chocolate bar or something like that. Anyways, I love you, Mom. Number 9, sugar is a leading contributor to obesity in both children and adults. So the way sugar affects hormones in the brain is a recipe for fat gain disaster. Oh, how I like saying it like that. Fat gain. Makes it a little bit more in your face. It can get people so addictive they lose control over their consumption. Oh yeah. So when I was in California, I bought, and it's always been my thing, to buy Twizzlers watermelon flavored pull-aparts, licorice pull-aparts, because you can't get them in Canada. So as I'm ripping into the package, super excited because I'm eating my watermelon licorice, and I'm reading the package, one of those pull-aparts has 14 grams of sugar. But I ate it all. Package is gone. Oh, and back to the Hershey bar that was sitting beside me and making me nauseated. I don't even remember what happened, but apparently I ate it because it's gone and the wrapper's in the garbage, and I didn't even consciously know that I did it. So, number 10, it ain't the fat, It's sugar that raises your cholesterol and gives you heart disease. Heart disease is the number one killer in the world, and saturated fat has been blamed for years, but now new studies are showing that saturated fat is relatively harmless. The evidence is growing and mounting that sugar, not fat, may be one of the leading drivers of heart disease because of the harmful effects of fructose on metabolism. Studies are showing that large amounts of fructose can raise triglycerides, small dense LDL, and oxidized LDL, which is very, very bad, and raise blood glucose and insulin levels and increase abdominal obesity in as little as 10 weeks. 10 weeks. So all of that mindless gobbling of sugar and filling our faces with cupcakes, cake, licorice, chocolate, and whatever else. 10 weeks, people, 10 weeks. So I have to say that over the last week since returning home and coming across the ebook and now this 10 disturbing facts article were signs to me. Signs that I need to get my sugar shit together. I need to stop jabbering about it, complaining to anyone who will listen about how intense my addiction is, and get my butt up off the couch and put my knowledge to use. I need to act, I need to take action, and I need to fix me. Here we are, episode 5, and I'm still saying the same thing. Work with me, stay with me, offer comments, offer suggestions. I'm open to anything. So as I start my detox, it's mostly based around, for me, it's trying to detox my body of sugar, and it's based on food. So certain foods, certain days, all that kind of thing. And today was day 1, and I've not had sugar today, and there's no caffeine involved either. And I can tell you that it's been a tough day. I do have a nagging lack of caffeine headache happening, and I have had the sweats all day. Very strange, but let's see how this goes. I'll keep you posted. Please stay with me. Join me on my continuing journey for the Sugar Chronicles. Thank you for tuning in. There's lots more to come in the future, not just for the Sugar Chronicles, but even more exciting topics coming in the future podcasts of the Pod Life. Please give us a like, subscribe, comment, and recommend to your friends and family. A new podcast is posted every other Monday at 7 p.m. MST. Happy spring, everybody!